Hello, you guys. I feel like it's been so long since I've actually made like a sit down video. This video is gonna be everything about my apartment, how much it costs, what area I roughly live in, and how I found this place. If you guys have not already seen my apartment tour, I would go check that out. I'm gonna link it over here somewhere and then I'm gonna link it below so you guys can go check that out if you guys wanna see it. Let's get into the video. So first off, I'm gonna talk about pricing. I think everybody is super curious about how much I pay. I said this a couple times on my TikTok, but I always get questions about it. So first off, in Korea, when you are renting an apartment, you have to put down a deposit. And the deposit can be really low. I've seen as low as like $1,000 or $2,000. And it can get very, very, very expensive. Get a lot higher than that. For this place in particular, I put down 5 million won, which is about less than $5,000 US, which is kind of, it's a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money for a place. The great thing about the deposit is that after you put it down, you get your deposit back at the end of your contract. You know, even though it's a lot of money you put down, I kind of see it as like an investment. So that's like my apartment money. And I do plan on living in Korea for a long time, so I don't really see it as like a big deal. Monthly rent, I pay 550,000 Korean won a month, which is less than or around $500. I feel like that's a pretty good price, especially for the area I live in and my apartment. I felt like 550 was very, like, almost a little too cheap. Don't tell my landlord that. Does not include the heating, the water, the maintenance. I pay about maybe anywhere from like $100 to like $150 a month for that. So probably total a month I pay about $600. So my job actually covers about 80% of the rent and then I pay the difference. So I think it's a really good steal. Okay, now we're gonna talk about location. I do not live in Seoul. Everybody always asks me, where in Seoul is this? I'm like, Korea is not just Seoul, you guys. So if I were to live in Seoul, this would not be 550,000 won a month. This would probably be like $1 million. I don't want to give out my location for safety reasons. I do not live in Seoul. I live about maybe an hour from Seoul. At least in my apartment, it's fairly easy for me to get to Seoul. Say about like 40 minutes to get to Seoul from here and then an hour by driving. So it's not bad at all. Again, I'm sorry, I don't want to share my location, but there are a lot of apartments like this, like loft apartments like this that you can find in Korea. So it's not like this is the only one you can find. There's a lot of good deals out there. So we're gonna move on to how I found my apartment. I actually found this apartment on an app called, I think it's called Jikbang. Basically like a real estate app. A lot of the realtors or the landlords will list their apartment on the app, the picture, contact them, and then set up an appointment to go see the apartment. If you do not speak Korean, I would advise finding a Korean friend or even your boss to go and help you sign the contract and everything. Basically how it was for me, we saw the apartment, we really liked it, so we just signed that day. I moved in like maybe like a week or two after. It was super fast, super easy. They do a lot of things really quickly here just because they have that like culture of wanting to get things done very fast. If you do not speak Korean, I would advise getting a Korean friend to come and help you, or even like your boss if you're working here to come and help you find the apartment, and also to talk to the landlord and talk to the realtor and help you sign the contract. If you live outside of Korea, it's kind of tricky. Like I have not like looked for an apartment outside of Korea. Every time I've looked for apartments, I've been in Korea to find them. So I would probably wait until you get to Korea to actually settle down and find the apartment, and also see like if you like the area or not, because my area is actually kind of fairly expensive, so I wanted to look around and see the other apartments here before I settled on this one. I know there are some websites you can use to find an apartment if you are living outside of Korea wanting to move in. I'm gonna try to link them below if I can remember. I think one is Craigslist. There are also some English-speaking realtors, but they're mostly located in Seoul. So if you're trying to live in Seoul, you can find an English-speaking realtor pretty easily. I also wanted to touch up on some of the pros and cons of living in Korea. A lot of landlords do not want to rent to you because you're a foreigner. A lot of them don't want to deal with language problems or just dealing with a foreigner in general. So I would take that into account. But that's not to say that there aren't places that will not let you live there. There are some places that won't, but there are definitely a lot of other places that will let you live there. If you can't find one place you want to stay at that will let you live there, there's always another place, so don't worry about that. I am thinking about moving to Seoul, but I'm not sure yet. So I will do another video about me looking for apartments if I do decide to move. As of right now, I think I might stay here because I really like my apartment and I like this area. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. I try to answer the major ones I got on my Instagram and TikTok. So the questions were about the pricing, where I live, how much I pay, stuff like that. So let's just talk about the breakdown of Korean apartments and the different styles and types that you can get. There are office towels, which is what I live in now. There are also buildings called villas, which are about 3 or 4 stories. There's usually like a really big apartment at the top and there's a bunch of smaller ones at the bottom. If you guys saw my first apartment tour video, I actually lived in a villa and that was okay. I mean, it's okay for one person, but I wanted something a lot bigger because I need my space. Yeah, that's also another option. I also have just regular style apartments where, you know, you have your living room and then like 2 or 3 bedrooms. Those cost the most money out of everything. Usually only families stay there. For a single person, I mean, you could move there if you really wanted to, but it would cost you anywhere upwards of like hundreds of thousands of dollars to move in there. Anyway, that was a super quick video. I hope I answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, I will answer them down below. And yeah, thank you for watching.